Hey guys, this is Miles Morales here, and in this video we'll talk all about me. And me too. What the? Hey, how's it going everyone? This is DCSG81 and today I would like to do a comparisons for these two Miles Morales Spider-Man from the Mafex as well as the Sentinel toys. Before I begin, I would like to say that everything that I mentioned in this video will be purely based on my own opinions only. So let's start the comparisons by the overall look of both of the figures. So as we can see, the first thing that you will notice is of course the Mafex one is wearing a cloth cape, a fabric kind of material, while the Sentinel toys is all purely on plastics. Okay, so this is the major difference, and even the coats color are kind of different in terms of the greens as well as the pen as well. So I'm not sure which one is the more accurate one. I'll of course put pictures of the Miles Morales from the animations so we can do a comparisons. And when I was doing the review for this Sentinel toys, I always thought that he's much bigger than the Mafex one, but in fact I was wrong. As you can see, the Mafex one is slightly taller than he is, which is quite surprising because when I was handling this guy, I always thought he's bigger, but somehow the Mafex one seems to be taller than him. This is a surprise until I do a comparison right now. And let's take a closer look at both of the figure. As for myself, I always felt that I kind of like the fabric material because this is a personal preference, because I feel that it actually brings realism to the figure. So even before these two are being released, I have always preferred the Mafex one. But after this one is out, yes, I kind of changed my mind because I kind of feel that it's a little bit better to have sculpted material on the cloth because of all the wave that you can see. It kind of looks cool. This one does looks a little bit dull, even though that the jacket has some bendy wire that you can actually post. Not very strong one, but there are still some bendy wires that you can feel. Of course it's not on the pants. So there is some benefits of having the clothed material as well, but for myself, I kind of like this look a lot better now. But of course the fabric material does have its own advantage, which I'll go through later as well. So let's take a look again. So it kind of looks very different between both of them, and even the shoes, I believe there will be some differences. I do think that some of you guys actually says that the Sentinel one is more screen accurate as compared to the Mafex one, but I believe both of them are not screen accurate because the one from the animation has a Nike sign, and both of these toys doesn't have it. I think it's just to avoid any copyrights from the Nike shoes. The next thing I would like to point out is for the fabric clothing, the hoodie actually fits very well. As you can see, the entire head is covered, but the one from Sentinel does looks very odd because this is how he looks like. It can't really cover the entire Spider-Man head, and I do know why, because they actually made this for the unmasked heads of the Miles Morales because of his hair. So they can't really do it covering it all, otherwise it wouldn't fit the Miles Morales unmasked head. But this does looks very odd as compared to the Mafex one, which looks beautiful. Yes. So for the overall look, I do prefer the Sentinel toys because of the sculpted jacket. It just looks very neat in a way. It just looks very neat. But for this Mafex one, somehow he just looks kind of messy. Now let's take a look at Miles Morales without his clothing, and this is where I think the Sentinel toys shines again, because you can see the body proportion is looking much better as compared to this Mafex. This looks like a stick man. Yes, I do find him to be a little bit too skinny, or even though I know that he is just an animation character, so it is fine. But as you can see, you compare with this guy here, he just looks a lot better. Yes, this is what I meant. And I do know that a lot of you guys think that he does have a short neck for the Sentinel toys, but for me somehow I just feels that it's acceptable in a way. It's not like something like a deal breaker. I do think that it looks okay. Yeah, of course, if it can be tiny bit longer neck, then it will be much better, but this one I can accept it. It's not something that is unacceptable. I do think that it's okay. Yeah, but for this guy here, wow, he's very skinny. And let's take a look at all the body design, and you can see that this Mafex one does seems to be a little bit how do I put it, doesn't look as good as this one here. You can see the material that they use is a lot better. Even the paints on the body is a lot better, but this painting is not that bad, just that the material that they use somehow doesn't justify the figure. And this one you can see even for the legs there is some sculpting there, but for this guy here it's just plain. Let's take a look at his back as well. You can see how beautiful the Sentinel toys one is, while the Mafex seems a little bit odd on the spider design. This one just looks a lot better. Yeah, even for the face, yes, I do think that this one just looks okay, and it's not that bad for the Mafex one, just that as an overall I do prefer the Sentinel toys ones. And next, let's talk about the articulations. For the Miles Morales in the jacket, I would definitely say that the Mafex one has a better articulations as compared to this guy here, and I'll show you why. Okay, the very first thing that you will notice is that the arms for the Sentinel toys, you can see he can't really put his arms side to side on his body because of the flow of the jacket. Yeah, so the best thing he can look is like this, which looks pretty odd. But the one from Mafex, because of the fabric material, you can really do whatever you want. The sculptor is no hindering at all because of the soft fabric. Yeah, you can pose however he wants to. Yeah, so everything is very flexible, I would say, because of the fabric. At the same time, there is some restrictions when it comes to the pants because you can't really stretch out much of his pants. As compared to this guy, in terms of the lower body, he does have a better articulation because everything is sculpted. You can see he can do a splits very easily, so there's no problem there. But as for his upper body, like I say, there is restrictions on the hands because of, as you can see, this is snap-on. Yeah, we all know that he needs to step on because of changing the clothing. So in terms of his arm, there will be some limited articulations. Yeah, sometimes when you're posing it, it will actually drop out. So it's kind of get frustrated at times when I was doing some poses and either this arm or this arm will just fall off. Yeah, and also the hoodie doesn't seem to be wanting to stay in place, so it's quite frustrating sometimes. But the Mafex one will not have such problem in terms of the poses. So I would say in terms of the articulations for the Miles Morales in jacket, the Mafex ones will have a better articulations. Okay, so let's take a look at the articulations for Miles without the clothing. And as you can see, this is one of my favorite Spider-Man poses that I try to get them to do the same thing. But for the Miles, it's pretty easy to do, but he doesn't look very natural. And for the Sentinel toys, he looks very good pose, but unfortunately his head cannot look up. But if you were to put him on top of some building looking down, something like this, is looking very beautiful. As you can see, yes, from below and you look up, he just looks very nice, like he's looking down to some skyscrapers. Yeah, very nice. Okay, and this is another Spider-Man pose which I like from the Tobey Spider-Man 2, and as you can see from here, yep, again the Mafex one can do the pose very easily and his head can look up very nicely, while the Sentinel toys, I would say that his poses is more refined, yes, but the head, unfortunately, he can't really look as much as compared to the Mafex one. Yeah, and then again, the overall poses, I think the Sentinel Toys one will look more beautiful. Maybe it's due to his body proportion is looking better, so that all the poses that he do kind of looks better. But for this guy here, he can do the poses very easily, but somehow because of his skinny frame, it just looks pretty odd, you know, like yeah, somehow it just doesn't look right. But in terms of the articulation, the posability, I do think that the Mafex one is better as compared to the Sentinel Toys. Okay, so let's go through the accessory that these two Miles Morales comes with, and both of them do comes with tons and tons of accessories. And I'm not going to show all the accessories over here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the accessories that are unique from each of them. Okay, so let's go through the hands first. For the hands, this Mafex Spider-Man does comes with 8 pair of hands, which is a lot. Okay, and as for the Sentinel one, he just comes with only 6 pair of hands plus 2 additional right hands. So that's all about the hands. Let's go through the accessories for the Mafex, which are unique, which is this pair of shoes that comes with the magnet, another shoes that also comes with the magnet, wall crawling hands which also have the magnets. And all the Mafex Spider-Man does comes with lots of webbings, an interchangeable Spider-Man head which looks very similar compared to this head here. 2 unmasked head of Miles Morales, whereby you can see both of them are having a different expressions, and I kind of like this one a lot with the mask still hanging to his head. And lastly, he also comes with this mask whereby he can actually hold on to it. And for the Sentinel Miles Morales, he just comes with a hammer, a headphone, a handphone, a can spray whereby you already have a hand attached to it, a pair of tied shoelace, and also a pair of untied shoelace. 1 interchangeable Spider-Man head which looks very good with the different expressions of the eyes, and also 1 unmasked head of Miles Morales. Let's take a look at the unique accessory that both of them comes with. I would say that the Mafex one does have a lot more when it comes to the accessory. You can see even the head, they have 4 heads, and also the magnetic hands and shoes, okay, and lots of webbings. But for the Sentinel ones, I think it is a lot more fun, whereby you can have a hammer, you know, headphone, a telephone, a can spray, you know, even the shoelace you can play around with. So in this case, I would say the Sentinel Toys accessory is a lot better, even though it's not as many as the Mafex. In addition to that, I would like to point out that the Sentinel does give a much better looking stand as compared to the Mafex ones. Okay, so the next session is something new, whereby I would like to call it Playability. Yeah, this is where I would actually analyze which one of the figure is more fun, more safe to play with. Okay, so let's begin with this guy here. And as you guys know, Mafex is known for its fragile joint, and with this guy even more skinnier, I think a lot of you guys are very scared when you are playing with it. So am I. Okay, so just take a look at the hands. Yep, as you know, you need to change the hands quite often for Spider-Man. That's why they've given us 8 different pair of hands that you need to interchange. And just take a look at how tiny the joint is. Okay, so it is very scary to interchange the hands, even for myself here. Okay, but as for the Sentinel, let's take a look. Yep, you can see how thick it is. So let's compare the joints. You can see how small it is for the Mafex as compared to the Sentinel Toys. It's like the 2 times thickness compared to the Mafex ones. And the best thing about Sentinel Toy is each of the hand does comes with its own pack, so that even if you accidentally broken one, you can still use other hands. But for the Mafex ones, once you've broken this off, you can't use any more other hands. I like the idea that they actually fix the hands on the accessory so that you don't have troubles to put them on and it will drop off soon after. So this is a very good idea. The same goes for these web shooting hands, whereby you can see they have already attached the webbings on it, even though you can still remove it, but it's actually quite stick on to it. In overall figures, when I hold both of them together, I can feel that this Spider-Man is a lot more sturdy and you will feel really safe in playing with it, while this one does feel very fragile. I kind of scared I might broke any parts of the joints one day. And next, I'll compare the boxes that each of them comes with. So I'll show you some pictures from my previous review for these two guys, and you can compare from there. And as you can see, both of the boxes are very huge. For those of you who are box collector, I don't think you will like boxes that are huge. Same goes for me. But at the same time, I do like the Sentinel Toys box design because it's a lot more creative. Like I say, it's like a comic style, and if I'm a box collector, I would definitely keep the Sentinels one as compared to the Mafex ones. And next we'll talk about the price for each of them, and as we know, both of them are not cheap at all. Mafex has always been on the high-end scale in terms of the price, but this Sentinel is even higher than Mafex. Okay, so he's a little bit more expensive as compared to him. So let's say that I'll give an example to you in terms of yen, which is the Japanese currency. So Mafex is roughly around 7,000 to 8,000 yen, but the Sentinel toys can go up to maybe 10,000 to 12,000 yen. Yeah, this is how much differ as compared to the prices. So in this case, of course, I will always go for the lower one, which is the Mafex one shall win in this case. Okay, so for the overall points, the Mafex has gotten 4 points, and for the Sentinel, it has gotten 5 points. So yes, Sentinel one does wins in these comparisons. So if you were to ask me, yes, I do think the competition is very stiff. Both of them are quite on par with each other, but in terms of the look, the accessory, I really think that the Sentinel ones does better as compared to the Mafex ones. Yeah, but the Mafex one, the fabric clothing, I think is a good touch on the overall figure, but he just looks very ugly without the clothing, as you can see. So if you were to ask me which one is better, I mean if you were to choose only one, I would think that you should go for the Sentinel. But the thing is, we know that the Mafex has Peter B. Parker as well. But as for the Sentinel, we all know that only him is being released. They are releasing Peter B. Parker, and there is no news about the Spider-Gwens. So it's kind of risky if you want 3 of them and you invested on the Sentinel because he's not cheap. So if you want to be in a safe place, I think you should get these Mafex ones. So I do hope you find this comparison informative and also useful to you in terms of decision making. Do give me a thumbs up if it does help you, and of course I would like to hear from you or answer any of your questions that you have on these comparisons. Do leave me a notes down in the comment sections below. While you're still around, I hope you check out my playlist right over here, which is a lot more comparisons that I've done for other figures. At the same time, I hope you'll browse around my channel for more interesting videos. I have over 650 videos by now, and I'm pretty sure there will be something that you are interested on. So I will see you again in my next video. As always, take good care of yourself and thank you for watching. Bye.